So you've got your first job, but you need to pay a lot of your earnings in rent to live closer to the office. Is it worth it? Or how much should you be saving? Even if you haven't just started out, let's discuss a couple of ways to look at these questions so you can decide what works for you. Hi, I'm Hansi, and we're talking money. The most common way to budget your spending is to use a rule of thumb, the 50-30-20 rule. The essentials bucket includes all the things that are necessary, like food, housing, utilities, clothing, and transport. The food here includes the groceries bill. So it's what you stock your pantry with, as well as the fresh ingredients like vegetables, fruit, milk, eggs, etc. The housing could be rent, but if you've bought a house already, it's the EMI or the monthly installments towards your mortgage. If you've taken a principal and interest loan, it does include some principal, which technically is building up an asset. That's your house. But in the early years, it is so little that you could assume that it's all interest. So you're spending it rather than saving it. The essentials bucket also includes utilities like gas, electricity, and phone and Wi-Fi bills within reason. The clothing includes basic clothing, and the transport includes public transport or a very basic car if there's no public transport available. Then there's also the cost of ongoing education for your kids or yourself. I know the cost of education is soaring, and that's a topic we do need to discuss separately, but for now, basic education. The whole essentials bucket should be no more than 50% of your earnings, with housing making no more than 30%. If you are spending more than this, you need to be confident that the time you're saving by living closer to the office is being well spent so that you could be earning more in the near future. The wants include all other discretionary spends like eating out, drinking out, entertainment, and fashion clothing. The savings include all savings, whether it's for building up your emergency cash or investing for medium or long-term goals. If you're providing for the Provident Fund and it's well invested, that could count here as well. Now, personally, I prefer to save at least 30%. So I recommend swapping the wants and savings. So I would say 20% for wants and 30% for savings. The idea of this rule of thumb is to be a guide. Of course, you have to adjust it for your circumstances. Some of you may not genuinely be able to get by on these splits. Only you know whether you expect your situation to change in the near future, so you could be living with different splits for the short term. Now, some of you may be able to, but have not been able to control your impulsive habits. You may be just getting too tempted by eating out or shopping or clothes or gadgets or needing that holiday. Let me share with you another way to think about this, and this may help you reframe your spending. It's called the life energy model. In a previous video, we worked out your real hourly earnings rate. This is the rate you earn after adjusting for taxes, but also for hard costs like extra rent, transport, clothing, etc., and soft costs like extra time to commute and de-stress, etc., for getting your earnings. So after adjusting for all that, you work out your hourly earnings rate, say is X rupees. Now, when you're thinking about buying something, do a quick calculation in your head. How many hours will you need to work to just pay for that? Is it 5 hours, 10 hours? And then ask yourself, is it worth it? You can do this right now for each category that we listed earlier, or for each item. Now, what are you willing to cut back on? In summary, the 50-30-20 rule gives you a rough guide in terms of how people split their expenses into needs, wants, and savings. But you can adjust it depending on where you are in your life and how confident you are about increasing your income. Another way to think about it is to know your real hourly rate of earnings after adjusting for all the hard and soft costs, and then thinking about how much life energy it's going to cost you to buy that extra item. Now, let's hear from you. What do you spend on that I've not listed here? Or try out this life energy model and tell me how that works for you. Would love to hear from you. And Maybe share this video with friends of yours that could really use with this approach. Look forward to hearing from you and make sure you subscribe.